Avengers! Assemble.
Welcome back to the channel. It's the Preventers, you guys, and welcome back to another Marvel Feature 5 video. Today we're here with the update patch notes details. Of course, we just wrapped up the live stream video, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. Now we're here with the update patch notes details. Hopefully you're able to check this out before the update drops. It will be dropping at 3 a.m. Eastern time, so 6 a.m. Pacific time. Obviously, if you didn't know, the update got pushed back a day because of a holiday over where the devs are working. So we're still getting the update. Don't worry. But here are the patch notes details that went ahead and came out a little bit, almost a day ago, a little less, more like 18 hours ago. But let's go ahead and take a look. So obviously we got Man-Thing here. Like we talked about in the last video, he is a free character in the selector biometrics. If you didn't know that, you can get him for free. Anybody and everybody. He's going to be a combat type superhero, human male who goes to transcend it immediately. So we don't have to wait at all to see what his worth is. So his leadership here, it applies to all allies. He has decreased debuff duration by 30% and a 30% increase of HP, which is pretty interesting. He has a tier 2 passive that applies to himself, which is super armor and increased skill damage. His other passive is going to be a 5% heal that applies to himself every 1 second. And then a decreased basic damage received by 30%. And his activation rate is when his HP is below 99%. So that thing's going to be activating pretty much all the time. His first skill here has a 7-second cooldown. It's called Monster Punch. He's got stun and some physical damage. His second skill is called Swamp Dive. It has a 10-second cooldown. It has Burn, Snare, Panic, which is interesting. We'll get into that. Physical damage and Incapacitation. I can never say that. His third skill is Monster Slash with a cooldown of 15 seconds. He's got stun, 100% chance to grant damage all immunity, and some physical damage there as well. His fourth skill here is called Man-Thing's Roar. Cooldown time of 15 seconds. He's got Snare, Panic again. We're going to get into that. Give me 1 sec. Decrease all basic attack, and then it applies to himself. He's got Invincibility, increase all basic damage, and increase in crit rate, and some more physical damage, of course. He is going to be a physical damage type character. His fifth skill here is called Swamp Terror, which sounds really cool. He has a 15-second cooldown. He has Burn, Bleed, 70% chance of missing attacks, Panic again, and Paralysis, Barrier, and Accumulation, and some physical damage and increased basic damage again. So basically, he has been giving a new ability that we have not seen before, which is called Panic. We are not sure what it does just yet. We're going to have to see in-game, but it says Panic increases basic damage received by 30%. And of course, down here it says the same thing. And they're both on 5-second cooldown. So they did mention that in the live stream that he'd be getting this sort of new ability. They didn't say what it was going to do. We're going to have to wait in-game to see what it does, but it's sort of a buff effect. It's going to be pretty interesting to see if it's geared towards PvP or PvE, because I don't see any sort of PvP abilities in him. It looks like he's going to be full PvE sort of character. So I am interested to see if that sort of buff is also going to be that, or if it's sort of going to be a PvP ability, and they sort of threw it on a PvE character to sort of give it a sort of testing ground before they throw it on other PvP characters in the future, just in case it's too broken or not enough, you know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see, and I honestly can't wait to see how that looks in game to sort of find out what that does, because it's kind of hard to see come to terms of it on paper. Then, of course, we have 3 brand new uniforms that will all be on sale, starting with Doctor Strange, Death of Doctor Strange. He has 1,050 crystals, of course. He stays a blast superhero. Magic, fast movement, and all that other stuff. Human male justice all stays the same. His uniform effect is crit damage, increased critical damage, and increased skill damage. He has a leadership of 45% increase of energy attack and ignore target dodge. I think that's the only thing that really changed. The increased energy attack may have gone up by 10%. I'm not 100% sure, but I do think that is the case. His tier 2 passive is activation rate of 75%. He's got time freezing, and then 55% increase of energy attack and decreased basic damage received. His passive is increased chain hit damage and 100% chance to penetrate the barrier and all damage immune effect. His first skill here, called Soul Tear, is a 12-second cooldown. It has stun and energy damage. The second skill, called Eldritch Light, I don't know if I pronounced that right. He has a cooldown of 12 seconds here. He's got Snare, removes all debuffs from target, Paralysis Reflect, which is interesting, and energy damage. He's got third skill here, Mystic Black Hole, which actually looks really cool if you haven't seen it yet. Has a 13-second cooldown. He's got Paralysis, decrease all basic attack, 100% chance to grant all damage immunity, Accumulation, 1.5% increase of all basic attacks, and some more energy damage. He, of course, stays an energy attacking character. On his fourth skill here, it's called Astral Projection. He has, of course, Burn, Stun, Silence, a 25% heal, Invincible, increase all basic attack and energy damage. And then most importantly, he has a VPAT skill, which if you didn't see that live stream, at least now you know. He has a VPAT skill on that fourth skill, so that's going to be really nice for his rotation. That actually would make him, oh, sorry about that. That would actually make him pretty nice for ABL against Surtur. But unfortunately, he doesn't really fit any categories, so he is looking PvE-centric. He looks really good. He's, of course, going to be a World Boss Legend and GBR character. We're going to have to see how good, though, because, of course, because he doesn't really fit in the other game modes, he's going to have to be pretty darn good, just like his last uniform, to sort of fit into the meta and be a sort of must-have. And even though the last Doctor Strange uniform wasn't a must-have, because you could get away with clearing GBR with Makari, Athena, and a couple other characters, but he, of course, was the fastest to clear GBR. Nowadays, you have tier 4s like Jean, Black Bolt, tons of other characters that can clear GBR, that you don't really need the fastest GBR clearer, even if that's what he becomes. So he's going to have to be pretty darn good for World Boss Legend. We're going to take a look at his sort of availability in World Boss Legend stages when we get to his World Boss Legend video, either the level 70 or level 80. I'm not sure which one yet. Then on his first skill here, he's got Toa Mandala. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. Sorry about that. He's got Stun, Incapacitation, increase all basic attack, some more crit rate, and some more energy damage. And that's on a 30-second cooldown. That's a long one. Yeah, we'll see how that pans out with his rotation. That's going to be pretty darn interesting to see here. Then we got Sister Grimm, who's a blast superhero, human female with a Justice Instinct and, of course, magic ability. Her uniform effect is going to be increased chain hit damage by 15% when attacking. Her leadership is going to be a energy shield equal to 60% of max HP. That's going to be pretty cool. I don't think we've seen that before, and if we have, then it's not on anyone that I can quite remember at the moment. She's going to have a tier 2 passive here with increased skill damage, decreased basic damage. Then on her other passive, it's going to be a healing passive that applies to magic allies. It's going to go ahead and recover 10% of their HP and remove all debuffs for 15 seconds. So, of course, that automatically makes her a support for Doctor Strange, which is pretty darn nice. And our first skill here, it's going to be called Energy Ball. It has fire damage. That's basically it. On our second skill, it's going to be called Blazing Burrs, which looks beautiful. It has burn, paralysis, and fire damage on an 8-second cooldown. That first skill is on a 7-second cooldown. I don't know if I said that. Our third skill here is it's going to be called Staff Bomb. It's going to have burn, stun, silence, increase all basic attack, and some fire damage on a 15-second cooldown. On our fourth skill, it's going to be Mirror Teleportation is what's going to be called. It's got 15-second cooldown. It's got stun, incapacitation, a 20% heal, invincibility, and then fire damage. On our fifth skill, she's got burn, incapacitation, paralysis, increase all basic attack, fire damage on a 15-second cooldown. And of course, that uniform is going to cost 1,050 crystals. Then last but not least here, we got Dr. Voodoo from Strange Academy. It's going to be 1,050 crystals, of course. He's going to stay human male with the Justice Instinct with the magic and command tabs. Again, he's going to be a superhero and universal. On his uniform effect, he's going to have applies to all allies, ignore target dodge rate by 30%, and increase all debuff and increase all basic attack, leadership, which is not bad, and then a 90% chance to become immune to fire damage and increase skill damage by 50% on his tier 2 passive. On his other passive, he's going to have a 20% heal that applies to himself, applies to enemies. He's going to have decreased all basic attack, and a activation rate when attacking an enemy with poison effect is applied. Sorry, why are we getting all the notifications during this recording? I apologize. On his first skill here, it's going to be called Hoodoo Energy. It's going to have 8-second cooldown. He's got poison, stun, and energy damage. He's, of course, going to be dealing some energy damage here. On his second skill, it's going to be called Brotherly Spirit. It's got Snare and Energy Damage on a 9-second cooldown. Soul Power, his third skill, is going to be on a 14-second cooldown. Applies to enemies, is going to be Burn and Silence, and applying to himself is going to be Energy Damage and 100% chance to grant all damage immunity. On his fourth skill, Voodoo Domination, he's got a 15-second cooldown. Applying to enemies is going to be Poison, Mind Control, Incapacitation, decrease all basic attack, and applying to himself, he's got invincibility, increase all basic damage, attacks and defense, and crit rate, and then some more energy damage there. On his fifth skill, Pool of Spirits, he's going to have a 15-second cooldown, Poison, Snare, Tap, Incapacitation, decrease all basic defense, 20% heal, accumulation, and energy damage, and an increase all basic attack. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at their Tier 4s, Tier 3s, and Transcendent, and then we'll give you our thoughts on what we think they're going to fit in the meta, and then we'll get into the rest of the patch, because obviously you know that when we get one of these big updates, it's not just the uniforms, we always get something extra, which is really nice. Doctor Strange's Tier 4, which is probably the most disappointing part of the update, I'd say, is going to be a increase all basic attack by 50% and energy damage. Yeah, so basically copy and paste from, I don't even know, the past 3 maybe Tier 4s. Seems like we're just getting the sort of same increase all basic attack for Tier 4s. We haven't had anything sort of special in a while, which is kind of annoying because obviously we started off really nice with some awesome Tier 4s, with Black Widow being all dodge, Iron Man with the shield and sort of damage that increases once the boss's health is lower, Moon Knight with that heal under his moon ring, a lot of different stuff. And now we're sort of stuck on this increase all basic attacks, just kind of copy paste over and over again. It's just kind of annoying. I was hoping Doctor Strange would get something interesting, but it is what it is. His Tier 4 is going to be called Legendary Sorcerer. On Sister Grimm's Tier 3, obviously she is going to Tier 3 now. You can see the animation down there. Applying to enemies, she's got Burn, Freeze, Paralysis, and applying to herself, she's got Ignore Target Dodge, 80% chance to penetrate, Accumulation, and a all basic attack increase with fire damage also at the very end. Then Dr. Voodoo and Man-Thing are, of course, getting their Transcendent together here. They're both basically the exact same thing, so I'm going to read off of Man-Thing's here so you guys can see the actual animation on the bottom. They're both going to get applying to enemies Stun, Silence, Panic, which is interesting. I actually do want to check. Yep, that's on Voodoo as well, so we're going to see Panic on Voodoo. Paralysis, and applying to self, they have crit rate, crit damage, 70% chance to penetrate, removing all debuffs, increase all basic attack, and some physical damage. Both of these are going to be on a 60-second cooldown, so that's going to be a whole minute. They're going to have to wait to get that back there, and that's, of course, what it's going to be looking like. It looks amazing with both of them having their sort of times to shine in the sort of skill, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, that's it for the characters. Let's go ahead and give you our quick thoughts on what I think they're going to be in the meta, and then get into the final parts here of the patch notes. So Doctor Strange, like I said, is going to be a pure GBR, World Boss Legend character. He's not going to be must-have in GBR because we already sort of have enough characters that we don't really need that. Maybe if we get a new GBR in the future, maybe then he'll be the must-have. But obviously, first up, he's going to have to beat Jean Grey and Black Bolt for that #1 spot in the GBR clears, and we'll get to see soon enough if he's going to be able to do that. So other than that just leaves World Boss Legend. And like I said, we'll get into testing him and seeing if he is truly very meta for World Boss Legend. And obviously that will come into effect and showing if Sister Grimm is good or not, because she looks very PvE-centric. But what stands out is obviously her passive that's going to apply to Doctor Strange. So if Doctor Strange is good, that automatically make her a pretty good support for Doctor Strange. Voodoo and Man-Thing is sort of up in the air. They both look like PvE characters, but because of that panic, they could fit somewhere in the meta, surprisingly, depending on how good of a buff that sort of is. So only time will tell with these two, but I'm excited to see what they can sort of hold, especially with the brand new character in Man-Thing. If you didn't know, I'm pretty hyped about him. So yeah, we'll have to go ahead and see where they fall. That's where I think they're going to fall as far as Sister Grimm and Doctor Strange go. And these two are sort of up in the air. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll have to wait and see in the update. So then up next, we have a team-up collection that I sort of talked a little bit about in the live stream breakdown, but at least now we get a sort of list here. So obviously, if you missed it in the live stream, you basically get rewards and these tokens for upgrading the characters of these sort of members of these 3 teams, Midnight Sun, Sinister Six, and X-Force. And then with those tokens, you can actually go ahead and give them buffs like increase all energy attack. You get some pretty nice ones here from the actual tokens that you buy. You get increased basic attack that can go all the way up to 15%. increase additional pierce damage by 2%. That's pretty interesting. And then, of course, we see more over here by 40%. And then 10% actually is where it scales all the way up to. So that's pretty darn nice. That's going to be huge for these characters. And so let's go ahead and take a look at the list. So Midnight Suns obviously includes Doctor Strange, Scarlet Spider, Iron Fist, Ghost Rider, Blade, Moon Knight, Man-Thing, Dr. Voodoo, and Wong. I say the most important there are obviously Doctor Strange and Moon Knight right now. We'll see if any of those other characters get upgrades soon that it will matter a lot to. Then obviously we have the Sinister Six with Lizard, Venom, Green Goblin, Sandman, Vulture, Kraven the Hunter, Electro, Mysterio, and Dr. Octopus. Dr. Octopus and, of course, Green Goblin and Venom being the most meta, so we're going to see how well that sort of does for them. Then on X-Force, we got Cable, Warpath, Domino, Wolverine, X-23, Storm, Angel, Deadpool, Nightcrawler, and Bishop. So, of course, Cable, Wolverine, and Storm being the three that stand out because they're tier 4s. Obviously, we've only pointed out tier 4s up to this point on these teams. It's going to be interesting to see how well the buffs are. Of course, you're going to have to have all these characters up to tier 3, transcended tier 4 to sort of get that huge increase in all 40% attack and additional pierce damage by 10%. So it's going to take a lot of grinding and getting all of these characters up. Of course, not just the characters that you like, and be the whole list. So they sort of make it worth your time in investing your characters. And I do like that they're sort of having another sort of thing in game that encourages you to build up your roster. It's encouraging you to build these 3 teams, and you know that I love that because I love the fact that they sort of try and get you to make your roster improvements. So then we have some other game mode reward improvements. So the first time clears in story mode ultimate for 9-1, 9-2, and 10-1, you get 20 free life seed, 30 free carbs, and 30 free souls. And then 10-2, you get an artifact chest, which is pretty nice. So if you haven't cleared your first time clears for story ultimate, make sure to go get that done before the update because they are all going to reset. So we're going to get all our free tier 3 rewards and whatnot back, which is going to be pretty nice. It's nice to see that they're implementing some tier 4 materials in there for us. The Otherworld Battle Premium Battle Pass got updated. Now, instead of 2 Radiant Element Rune chests, you get 5. And then instead of 2 selectors, you're actually going to get 4. And then you get a Selector Radiant Element Rune 4 as well, which is brand new, making the pass definitely a lot harder to say no to. I wouldn't say it's still like a, yes, you must buy this, but it's looking pretty darn nice now, I'm not going to lie. They also improved the Alliance Tournament rank rewards. Obviously, I do not play Alliance Tournament because you have to be in a pretty high alliance. So this doesn't apply too much to me, but I'm still going to go over it, of course. We're getting improved rewards from 10 million gold now. You get 2 Alliance Tournament chests now. You got 7 million gold for second, 5 million for third, 4th to 8th is 3 million, and 9th to 16th is 2 million. Obviously, these gold and chests should have been updated a while ago, considering the fact that the 9th through 16th reward is double the first place reward. So yeah, it is nice to see, but like I said, it should have been done a while ago. The Alliance chests have been updated now with tier 3 materials and Soul of the File line, which is pretty nice, but the question is how much of a chance do you have at getting these souls? And obviously, this only applies to players who actually can play sorry about that, actually can play in Alliance tournaments. So it's going to be interesting to see. I know I'm going through a little fast, but I don't want this video to be too long. It's already longer than I expected. We're going to go through the artifacts, and then we got one more thing to talk about. We have Sister Grimm, of course. You're getting ignore target dodge rate, increased basic damage dealt to enemies. Man-Thing's getting a recover HP and increase max HP. So that's what I'm saying. It's interesting. Maybe he's PvP. I don't know. Can be dependent on that panic ability. And then Dr. Voodoo gets a decreased basic damage received and an increase all basic attack. We got new icons for the Battle Pass. The Avengers one looks sick. Same with the Man-Thing. Those two are probably my favorite here. Doctor Strange and Voodoo do look cool too, but these two look awesome, especially the Man-Thing with the swamp and the little spider running by. Pretty darn cool. We get the Uniform Collection event, meaning that that's it for this update as far as Midnight Suns, meaning that if we are to get a mid-month, it will not, well, not if we are to. When we do get the mid-month, it is not going to be centered around Midnight Suns, so maybe that leaves room for Secret Invasion or something else. We'll have to wait and see. We have a couple other improvements. One that's going to particularly apply to us, which is the auto purchase of artifact chests. So you can now put auto purchase and it'll just continue to buy the chest for you until you run out of Celestial Essence. So that's going to make our videos a lot nicer and smoother. So I'm not going to have to sit there and click forever and hurt my hand. For bigger sort of openings, I can just set it on auto, talk to you guys about it while they're opening, which will make things a lot easier for someone like me. And I know for others, you can sort of just click the auto purchase on, let it run if you have a lot of Celestial Essence, and come back later to see your inventory and see what you got your hands on. So that's a pretty nice feature there. There's also another thing where you tap on your icon, you can actually see sort of applications that are running. So Epic Quest, you need to do Dimension Mission and blah, 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 and you have 2 days to remain to get rewards, which is pretty cool that you can now see in the top right. We also have some other sort of small changes. The only other major thing that I do want to definitely talk about is that the progress time Multiverse Invasion has been decreased from 2 minutes to 1 minute. So it'll take you 10 minutes to sort of get that done now. 10 minutes compared to the 20. It reduced it in half, which is pretty darn nice. We got some other game error fixes. Nothing too big to talk about. So that's basically it for the patch notes, guys. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed my breakdown. Sorry that the video is so long. You guys know me by now. I take forever on the patch notes videos. So I do hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did make it this far in the video, I really appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you guys all in the next video for the update coming out. Like I said, 3 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. We'll be up with a video probably a little less than 12 hours after the update drops. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, as always, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, guys. Stay tuned for Doctor Strange and Man-Thing videos coming up very soon, guys. And much more, of course, with the sort of reward system here that we got going on. So yeah, that'll do it for today's video, guys. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you all in the next one. Peace!